welcome to the Minus the Rumors podcast for February 11th, 2016. I am Ed from Zero Plays Games, joined with our hosts tonight, Bob from Ziploc Bob and Sequel Syndrome Podcast, Pika Wubs from Pika Wubs Plays Things
and stuff.
Yeah. And CrimsonRoze from CrimsonRoze. Who has our first topic tonight?
Yes. So, back during the around the Super Bowl, Twitch had a wonderful little event that they had, where basically they had people sit on a couch that was basically hot wired onto a bucking bull. Or what do you call those?
Mechanical bull.
And basically who could play the best while that was going on. Now, it was connected with the Twitch Plays style stuff where the chat controlled how the bucking bull worked, which is ridiculous. So, during that time, this was called the Bucking Couch Bowl. So they had more than 300,000 people watching. Over 1.7 million minutes were watched. Over 160,000 messages were sent to control the couch, and over 34,000 emotes were used. So that's ridiculous. The streamer called Summit 1G ended up winning, claiming the first ever Bucking Bowl trophy, and hopefully this will be returning every year.
Really? So this was like it was Twitch Plays. It wasn't people sitting on a couch and having somebody control the mechanical bowl. It was a or the mechanical couch, the bucking couch.
Yes.
Man,
with streamers on the couch.
The streamers on the couch, viewers entering things in the chat. The couch goes wild.
The couch. Yes.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Right.
I remember a Twitch Plays where they had like a goldfish trying to play something. I don't remember what the game was.
Right. That is a thing.
Yeah, they had a webcam of a fish, and it used a visual sensor, and the fish would swim one way, and it would compute to a command for the game. It was very slow paced, by the way.
It was real fish tried to play Pokemon.
Yeah.
The Twitch Plays Pokemon what got me into Twitch Plays, like just the idea.
I remember watching Twitch Plays Minecraft and absolutely did not care for it too much.
It can be anywhere from watching like just it's kind of like watching an accidental orchestra, where it can be anywhere from this amazing thing that just happens to complete and utter chaos and everywhere in between.
Right.
So it's not for everyone. Me personally, I don't like watching it as far as like for quality gameplay, but I do like watching it because of my design and programming background, just thinking about how much programming has to go behind one of these.
Right. And then also, if you are a fan of this kind of stuff, they have their Twitch Plays now has its own directory on Twitch, so you can find them all in one nice little place. So you can watch Twitch Plays Pokemon, Twitch Plays Dark Souls, which that's interesting, and then Minecraft and all kinds of other games. So now it's in a nice little neat place.
Yeah, I think that this was only a matter of time, because this is a very unique format.
Right.
Because much like the creative format, the music format, you needed somewhere for the artists to go or the programmers to go, to where they'd get a better viewership that knew what they were doing, versus like, what is this guy doing writing stuff in C++ for a mod for Skyrim? He isn't playing Skyrim, for example.
Right.
And honestly, if it wasn't for them making those formats, I probably wouldn't have found some streamers that I watch and actually interact with now.
Thank you for the follow, by the way, minus the Damon. We appreciate it. We all know you're Boo, who's really Matt Damon.
Right.
You're the real Matt Damon.
I am Matt Damon.
In other Twitch news, $17.4 million. No, I'm not talking about a purse for an esports tournament, which would be, going rate nowadays with, Cologne and, ESL. 17.4 million was the amount of money that Twitch streamers raised for charities in 2015. That's not, money that Twitch gave or Twitch raised. That is the money that was raised on Twitch by streamers both small and large over last year.
So.
Yes, and the community. So if you are one of the people that donates, thank you so much. Twitch has raised, or streamers on Twitch raised huge money. I mean, that's almost $20 million. You don't see that on telethons usually and things like that.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Zero, you actually are trying to raise money for a charity as well.
That's right, I am. I haven't streamed on Twitch myself this year yet, I don't even think. But I did just join the Extra Life charity. I've set a goal of $5,500 for this year. Now, I'm going to do the day of play, the game day, on November 5th anyway, with or without meeting my goal. But I'm going to do my best to try to get close to it. Aren't you doing Extra Life as well, Bob?
Yeah, I'm doing 2 charities off and on throughout the year, where I am doing Extra Life because there's a hospital, Children's Miracle Network Hospital, literally 20 minutes away from me, and I have a family member that's in there right now, so that hits pretty close to home. And where like the doctor fees are waived is how these hospitals work. And that's the difference between, like, say, a $300,000 bill and a $3 million bill is the doctor's fees.
Right.
Because, like, all that. But not get carried on that. I'm also helping out with the troops because I am a veteran. And long story short, I still have that sort of connection. And I have been deployed, so I know how boring it can be over there. And
Right.
it's just, it's called Operation Dropbox, to where basically gaming equipment from everything from PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One game, like the software and hardware, as expensive as Alienware computers, are given to the troops.
Right.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Twitch pulls an average of 1.7 million streamers each month, and the average viewership of 550,000 concurrent viewers. Now, concurrent means people that show up to the Twitch servers and continue to watch. They're not just, oh, I accidentally ended up on Twitch and bug out. They are concurrent viewers. They come back. Audience retention for videos is longer than they do on YouTube. 426 is the average number of minutes watched by each Twitch viewer versus 290 minutes that people watch on YouTube, which is pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not fair to compare Twitch to YouTube because they're 2 completely different services, or at least were before you got in on the live streaming game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because your average video the average video and length that I watch is anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, because I'll watch a lot of like video game theories and that sort of stuff. And yet, while that's longer, it's nowhere near like I'm going to do a 24-hour live stream.
Right.
YouTube has just now gotten to that realm, so Twitch has definitely
Right.
got the numbers racket going.
And YouTube had the live streaming thing before, but it didn't really emphasize it for gaming until lately.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gaming.youtube is now
They also
now
have
the
a
big thing.
music.youtube now.
Yes. Yes, they do. So, speaking of gaming, there's a new game coming out from Square Enix on March 11th for PlayStation 4 and PC. Can you guess it?
Batman?
Oh, I
Is
wish.
it another Final Fantasy title?
I wish.
It's Square Enix. I think JRPGs.
It's got a bald character. He doesn't
Superman.
really talk that
Superman?
much.
Oh wait, he talks a lot. That bald guy never shuts up.
Okay, so the new Hitman game is coming out March 11th. For PlayStation
Hitman?
4 and PC. The beta is coming for PS4 on February 12th. That goes from the 12th to the 15th. You can sign up at Square Enix at their website.
That's Square Enix?
That is Square Enix.
Oh yeah, they also did the Lara Croft games. They've been
Mm-hmm.
publishing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's not their
They just
norm.
They
But-
came, yeah, they came out of like nowhere, and now they've.
Right. Oh, it is also coming to Xbox One on March 11th as well.
Well, yeah, Square. Yeah, they have a lot of love for the Xbox.
This game was supposed to come out last year, but it was delayed so that Square Enix could put in more content. And apparently in doing so, it got huge, like games of late have been doing.
From what I've heard,
The platform beta, or PS4 and Xbox One platform games, are about 4.7 gigabytes in size. And the specs have been released for PC hardware for this game. Can you make the minimum? Operating system of Windows 7 64-bit? An i5 2500 or a Phenom 2, which are both 3 gigahertz processors? 8 gigs of RAM? A GeForce GTX 660 or an HD 7870 graphics card? And DirectX 11 to make the minimum requirements? Yes, maybe.
Beefy.
It's pretty
Okay.
beefy.
I just gotta say this. Wow. I bought. I know. Heck, ages like milk,
Mm-hmm.
but I spent $1,500 for my current rig.
Well, then for $1,500, you're not even going to meet the recommended PC system requirements.
And I'm looking at the recommended, and I don't hit it.
The recommended requirements
I-
for this
I
game,
barely hit the minimum.
the recommended
barely.
requirements are Windows 7, 64-bit, or 8.1, or Windows 10, a i7 at 3.4 gigahertz, or an FX 8350 at 4 gigahertz, the same 8 gigs of RAM, the GTX 770 graphics card, or the all-powerful R9 290 AMD card, and DirectX 11. I mean, that's a beefy game, especially for one that's...
Right.
I'm pulling the numbers from my head, so there's no source for this. But so, warning, I might be wrong with what I'm about to say. But the difference between the processor and graphics, between minimum and recommended, if you monetized it to money, is about $1,000.
That's recommended. That's not even optimal. That's just recommended. This is what we think it's going to take to play this. And it's
I don't think they have optimal out yet. Like it doesn't exist yet. Sorry.
but I mean, I don't want to get off onto a tangent, but how long before, everybody stops screaming PC master and goes to console? I mean, as a content creator, you already have to have a pretty powerful PC to be able to play and record or play and stream these games. So you've got to take recommended and go beyond to be able to make frame rate, to be able to make graphics quality, and to make visually appealing content. So how long before everybody goes back to a console and then uses their gaming rig that makes minimum or just barely meets recommended on these, and they're just using it to hit up a capture card?
I don't know. I
Well,
honestly think that these requirements are complete. They don't make sense. Like for the Battlefront requirements, it was like GTX 970 for the recommended. That is just no. uh, it was proven that you could run with lower end hardware for Battlefront. So I'm assuming these recommended requirements for Hitman are just stupid claims made by Square Enix.
Yeah, Square Enix is. I can see from the development side how this happened.
Right.
This was
Right.
too many people with spending too much money into using the latest cutting edge thing where they could have scaled it back to make the game easier for everybody to play, to where because they used the best of the best, they're probably accidentally getting rid of some of their target audience because that want to play it on PC because they can't play it on PC now.
Well, the Star Wars Battlefront beta. We covered the specs on that too. I mean, that was before you and Pika got here, but we were all impressed by those specs too. They wanted a 970 card as the recommended, and we're like, what?
Gaming hardware and games are definitely leaving people behind.
Right.
I'm putting my wallet in my back pocket because it was next to the sound, and my wallet was hearing that and quivering in fear.
Right. It's just
like, no, I like having something in me other than the $2 that you're going to spend on a $1 menu at some cheap restaurant. Quit it.
right. It's getting scary, but it is what it is too. I mean, are we all going to stop playing games? No. Are we going to conform? Probably. I mean,
Yes, because I am an enthusiast and have nothing else better to do with my.
the option is beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
The alternative is beautiful. I tried this game called Outside once. The graphics were awesome, but the storyline was just so boring.
Well, see, that's why you try the multiplayer version called the Club. There's always enough drama to keep you interested. It's a much more urban version. It's a mod.
Yeah, but DLC in the game of life is so expensive.
So survival cost.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, if you die in that game, you can't come back. So
Yeah, no respawn. It has
yeah,
permadeath.
no respawn. But to get these things, like I can't really afford all these nice things, so I have to wait till they get cheap and new things come out and me in the dust.
Yeah, the thing is I will probably play the Hitman game. I will not play it the day it comes out.
Right.
I can't afford to. Like, there was games for the Super Nintendo that I played when the GameCube was huge, and I'm like, oh my god, I love this game. This is amazing. Because this is back before Earthbound became $300 a copy. I got a copy for $20, and it was amazing.
Right. Also, hello to Baby, who's watching on Beam right now. Thank you for being here.
Oh, baby Lugia. We love some Pokemon too.
Yes.
All right. So, in other news, The Binding of Isaac, which is a game I personally enjoy and Angry Hippie Lady enjoys, got rejected from the App Store because it was too violent towards children. So, mind
Yeah.
you, this is a game that it was originally rejected on the Nintendo systems, but uh, 2014 it was finally accepted. The game is on the Wii U, the 3DS, the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the Vita, and also PC. So what do you guys think about it not being on the Apple?
Part of me doesn't care because I don't own all Apple products.
Yeah,
Right.
same.
You know,
But
I used to own Apple products, and you'd be surprised as to what doesn't make the cut for Apple. I'm not saying they hold a higher standard in quality because I have got some crap off of the App Store, but
they just have a weird standard of quality, from my understanding.
I think this is direct hate towards this game. I mean, I've downloaded things off the App Store that are plenty violent.
And I'm willing to take a step further. I'm not even going to say it's hate towards the game. It's like, oh, you're successful in indie game. We can be successful without you. You're indie. You're not important. Which is funny because Nintendo's like Sony's been in the habit of approaching indie devs. Nintendo's finally starting to do that with Toby Fox with Undertale, and this game is phenomenal. Like if you look at it outside of just gameplay alone, which is rock solid, it's the story. This entire story is, yeah, I can get how they can do the entire. Well, it is violent and it has religious subtext. The religious subtext is what got Nintendo for a bit, but they decided that, well, it's there for a good reason, and it's not demonizing all followers of a particular faith, just a extreme sect, not even sect, but an extreme person that. And while there is quote unquote the threat of violence to Isaac, the player character, where where in the story his mom literally wants to kill him because quote unquote God told her to.
Right.
Right.
It's not. He doesn't actually go to it. The game is you escaping God.
You gotta.
Yeah,
you gotta.
the picture of the game is you're escaping the violence per se. So there's no per se gory scenes in this game. It's I can see why they would not have it, but then again, it's like kind of like it's interesting.
Right.
Yeah, if it got flagged for some of the other stuff in it, that would make sense. For example, the level called The Womb. WOMB. That's really messed up when you think about it. No, that didn't raise a black flag with them. But the fact that between levels, it's not even violence. It's the kid being chronically depressed, at least in my interpretation, of he's on his side crying. The game is not meant for kids. It has an M for a reason.
Right.
Right. Now
Also, the game. Go ahead.
you've got to remember that Apple themselves has got a large, I don't want to say the word cult following, but it's a cult following, not in a religious sense, but a cult is a group of people.
I'm going
And
I'd word it more like they have a very, very hardcore fanboy demographic.
you've got people that wait for 4 days outside of the store for a new phone or for the next thing.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that this game didn't get released to the App Store might just be in the fact that Apple doesn't want to deal with the backlash and they don't want to give up. They don't want to give up, their supporters. The people that religiously buy their products. And by religiously, I mean religiously buy their products.
As in doing it every time it comes out. Like, I religiously breathe or I religiously eat to survive. not religious as in oh.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the game was has not been officially announced for the iOS, but they're definitely exploring the idea. I think with all this fiasco, I think they'll most likely head in that direction.
And this isn't the first time that Apple's been kind of a pain about their App Store, because when the European Union Commerce decided to put new rules and stuff, including free-to-play games, it took them way longer than Google Play / Android. Google Play / Android went to the line almost immediately. Apple, they drug their feet about it and was trying to get that stuff repealed,
Right.
so they didn't have to try to get rid of the exploitative free-to-play games that are unfortunately on those stores. So it doesn't really surprise me.
Right. In other news, the most rage-inducing game that I have personally seen
God.
in modern times, Dark Souls 3. They've released the opening cinematic, and my lord, this thing looks beautiful.
Yes,
It looks
it
beautiful,
does.
but I'm already curling up like Isaac, dude.
Yes, it does.
Right.
One of these days we'll have the.
So Dark.
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead.
So Dark Souls 3 more or less picks up where it left off. Again, Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls, the games are very open-ended in their storyline, but it kind of picks up where it left off. The game does launch on April 12th on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the PC. There's also a few premium versions available. It's a game I would recommend that if you can handle rage-inducing games. If you can, this game is for you, and this game is great. It's beautiful. My lord, this game is beautiful. And I highly recommend the opening cinematic for sure.
One of these days I'm gonna get Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3,
my copy if you have a PS3, dude.
and I'm gonna do a no sleep till I beat them all. No sleep
Better
until I
yet,
beat all
Never sleep
3.
again.
And
Better yet, I'll mail you my copy.
and every time I die, I will eat a ghost pepper.
You don't want to do
It was
that.
nice knowing you.
You don't want to do that. You'll OD on capsaicin.
You
Before you get to the tower. Like, you might actually OD of capsaicin in the tutorial, dude.
In the tutorial.
I'm not joking.
You underestimate my gameplay, sir.
No, it's not. No, you're underestimating the game.
We're not supposed to think about the game. If you think about the game, you lose the game.
The game is
The game.
the game is strong with that one.
Mm.
Oh.
So I highly recommend picking up the game when it comes out. I very much highly recommend this trailer. It's very beautiful. There's some beautiful shots, beautiful kind of shows some of the bosses in the background. It's about a 3-minute video, so I recommend it. It's in chat.
It is beautiful, is what it is. But my
Right.
body is not ready for that game.
My body is not ready.
There's
So
my body, my psyche, none of me is ready for this.
So, in other news, the Pokken tournament, which we've covered a few times, apparently every amiibo that's ever been made by Nintendo you will be able to use it with this game. It'll either, I'm guessing if it's a Pokemon amiibo, you might be able to play as that character. Everything else will unlock items within the game, maybe some abilities. But it's really cool that the fact that every amiibo ever will be able to do something of some sort with this game. This is finally where the amiibos have a use in the games. All the amiibos have a use in the games that people like. So not like a me game.
Yeah.
The
They kind of
Mii
did the same
games.
thing with Mario Maker, and there's one thing I can't wait to see involving this is like when Mario Maker came out, people were able to see what amiibos were about to come out that weren't even announced yet because they
Right.
quickly used up all their amiibos, then did the 100 Mario challenge to get the rest of the Mario suits. I was like,
Right.
oh, there's this coming. I wonder if there's going to be a way to do the same thing with this game. That and 2D fighter plus Pokemon. That's my jam.
Right.
I'm buying a Wii for
So
this.
Pokemon Tournament, right? Pokemon Tournament does launch on the Wii U on March 18th. A quick side note: um, you can't use this with playing a friend locally.
You cannot
catch-
use
no
the
couch
amiibos.
co-op?
The controller, There's a special controller that you can get with this, optional, but it can't be used playing a friend locally.
Mm. Good to know.
All right, so
Yeah,
I
I'm
will
sorry. I
definitely-
just had a version of the Pokemon theme just run through my head where it's Pokemon, gotta fight 'em all.
right.
I wanna pull
So-
a fatality like no one's ever had.
What?
Hashtag settling karaoke.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, not again.
Not again. So
No.
maybe one day we'll have a MTR karaoke stream, but today is not that day.
No.
No, my voice is not ready.
Alright. Right.
I don't think their
My
ears are
body's not
ready.
Well, here's something
Alright,
that
so-
may be ready or maybe not. There is a PS3 game, a video of a PS3 game. He has not released the specs of his PC. Emulated. There's an emulator working for the PS3 that works. Here's why it's a big deal. The PS4 and modern computers, like say Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 8, all work on the same 86 architecture. And so, as far as the programming side of how would you program backwards compatibility, that has apparently been solved by fans to a small extent. It's still kind of hiccupy, and they were playing a Sega game that was very and stuff. That was like an Ace Combat, I believe, and it looked great, except for like maybe the one or two hiccups here and there, to where there was stuttering and sound lag and compression. It was weird. When the few times it did happen, it was rather wonky. However, on the flip side, don't know how powerful the PC is because backwards compatibility is a fancy term, or a short and fancy term for emulation for consoles.
Yes, that's it's always been the thing too. Is backwards compatibility is emulation.
Whether it be from your Game Boy Color being able to play your Game Boy games all the way up to the lackluster backwards compatibility of the Xbox 60 to Xbox 3, or to the original Xbox. Almost called it the Xbox One, but apparently I can't do that, and that still grinds my gears. But problem now, it lies in hardware, not software. I could see theoretically them eventually making a very expensive PS3 to where it's like, this is the backwards compatible version. There you have it, like they did with the PS3 for the PS2 games, and that one got jacked.
I can see them doing it with a software update on the PS4. Honestly, if they can get the code to work and things like that. I have a feeling that is why Sony just unlocked the 8th core for development of games. And I say games with quotation marks around it. It's a computing core. And it was locked out. They're not trying to max the gameplay graphics of new stuff. Well, I take that back. They're trying to max gameplay ability of new things. But I think that they'll also be able to use that 8th core to run an emulator software.
Yeah, that on top of that is if they actually do this from a business perspective, that also runs in with their problem with PlayStation Go. It's to where you have a Netflixian account where you can play PS2, PS3 games that way that you don't physically own, but it's so much more user friendly if you own the games.
Right.
Because right now, how it looks with the high-end possibility of the PS2 being emulated on the PS4 and the PS3 emulating PS1, literally odd PlayStation games I'd play on the PS3, and even PlayStation games I'd play on the 4. Is how I'd have to do it versus a one system fits all, which hasn't quite happened yet. Next in tech, from gaming to tech, is Amazon announces and releases a new game engine for free.
Free.
Right.
For free?
Free.
Whoa!
This
I
is
love free
Amazon.
things.
Pay money.
True.
This is a company that I'm like, wait, you're doing something for no money?
Well,
How?
Oh,
Okay.
wait. Is it gonna feature Twitch integration?
Yes, it's gonna have
Well, there's
all sorts of lovely bits for us lovelies.
Amazon tends to own Twitch, so of course they'll do it for free.
But it's called Lumberyard. It's their own game engine. The rendering on the website looks beautiful, but it is a still. But like
Right.
everything from the shading to the details of the foliage, how far the draw distance is, and how detailed the draw distance is phenomenal. But then again, it's a still. The video itself I watched, it looked fun as far as like what they were showing, but at the same time, this is more for the development side of things than it is for gaming.
Right.
So let's focus on some specifics. What is it based off of? Well, it's a free cross-platform 3D game engine that's based off of the CryEngine.
CryEngine is okay.
Yeah, and it's something like I said. They built upon it to make it bigger, better. Like every version of the Unreal Engine from 1 to Z at this point. It's just them adding more stuff and improving more stuff. They've never just stripped it all the way down and went from nothing again. It's always had that basic. The original kernel was always there, and they've just made it better. But they're trying to have a free engine that will make high quality games to connect games to the vast and complete storage of the AWS cloud as a way to engage fans on Twitch. It's available right now in beta for anybody building PC or console games, and support for mobile and VR games is en route. Not hard on right now. It's just kind of like it's gonna be there eventually. And also, they announced Wood Lumberyard is another service meant for deploying, operation, and scaling session-based multiplayer games. So, if you wanted to make a multiplayer game, this is how you would control your betas with greater ease and flux. That way, you could do a closed beta more efficiently. But again, all this is free, at least for now. They haven't announced any plans for making it cost a lot of money, but yeah. But it's just it's good to have another free and relatively easy. That's the trick. Is if it's going to cost, if something's free, it's hard to use, not user friendly. But they're aiming for both. And there have been games that's showcased free gaming engine, like the Final Fantasy VII remake, made with a free engine, and there's been plenty of fan remakes of the original Metal Gear Solid for PS1 made upscaled with like today's gaming technology that have been sometimes closed down, but they were there for a short time. So,
And typically they look absolutely fantastic.
yeah. But even though they don't say that this is their marketing strategy, Amazon is known as the company where you buy stuff. It's the Walmart of the internet.
Right.
So their idea is, we like selling tech. We're going to put this out for free. These people make the games, sell the games on our site, and we make more money.
Right.
That's how they're going to make their money back. So I can see them keeping it free for that reason. It's the idea of, we need to keep the cycles going. So how do we support our creators that create stuff that they sell on their stuff? This is how.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts, guys?
It's a very smart move on their part. I do think the engine does look beautiful. Well, it's nothing compared to the Unreal Engine 4, but still, it's fantastic.
You know, if it's a step up from Unity Engine or CryEngine, I mean, Unity is inexpensive. A Unity Pro license is only $1,500, or you can get it for $75 a month, which is relatively cheap if you're a developer and already have a couple of games on the market. You should be able to make $75 easily in royalties alone a month. But
Right.
I think it's going to give CryEngine and Unity a run for its money if it's any good, especially being free. And the name, the Lumberyard, that just screams, throw some stuff at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That has the rustic. I'm not gonna say hipster vibe, but I will say it has that rustic DIY vibe to it. So I'm all for it. They're marketing this very smartly, in my opinion.
Right.
Right.
Very, very much so.
Trucking them right along.
Okay, so do I just introduce this one?
Yeah, go ahead, Pika.
Okay, so Intel, if you have been keeping up with PC Master Race news, Intel people have been able to overclock the non-K SKU Intel Skylake processors, and Intel is now getting on that case and have decided to stop the overclocking party. They have, with new BIOS updates, you will no longer be able to overclock your non-K SKU processors. So basically what people did was they increased the base clock, and that just overclocked the chip, and people were like, "Oh wow, I don't have to get the more expensive K model." So, yay! Any thoughts about it?
Yeah, I can see exactly why they did it, because overclocking 101. Be prepared to eat the cost of that chip when you overclock it. Overclocking 102. Be ready to eat the cost of that chip when you overclock it. But they do have, like Intel does support overclocking indirectly. They say they don't, but they kind of do. With that being,
Skylakes are cheap,
buy overclocking protection to where it will not transfer to the new chip. It will not, like, say, if you overclock to the point to where you start a small forest fire inside of your PC, they're just going to I've seen this. Oh yeah, I've seen some horrible things go wrong, and it was always awesome.
Right. Skylakes are fairly inexpensive, though. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Hong Kong just yesterday released the news that he got his 6700K, the overclockable one, to 7 gigahertz. 7 gigahertz.
Damn.
You know what I could do with 7 gigahertz?
Everything.
I could burn up my processor. That's what I could do with it. And then I could pay $400 for a new one. Seriously, guys, don't overclock your non-K. They're expensive.
What did you use?
And the thing is how overclocking protection works is, They only replace that. They don't replace it when that much overheating screws up your motherboard too, because it can happen. It can actually fuse itself to your motherboard. For now, you have to buy a new motherboard too.
And we've already talked about the socket as well as the chips cracking and bending on the Skylakes because they're a little bit thinner than their Haswell predecessors.
When I was in PC, when I was in my PC repair class in high school, there was like a lot of spare parts that were so outdated they were worthless. So our teacher decided, was like, here's what happens when you overclock it wrong. And he overclocked an old Intel chip, like a Pentium, not even a Pentium 2, just a straight out Pentium, to the point to where it exploded in the case, and there were shards of that in the hard drive. Because it just superconducted that much where it just went, "Pah!"
I had an AMD Thunderbird that I
Wow.
took to. It was a 6 or an 800 megahertz processor. I know, big numbers, right? My phone's faster than that now, but
Oh,
I ended up.
I get you. I used to have a hard drive with 1 gig on it and thought I was invincible.
I ended up overclocking that one to 1.1, and it was stable at 1.1. Oh, thank you for the follow, Hopping Hammy.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, and welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoy your time here.
I had the Thunderbird, took it to 1.1 gigahertz. Decided 1.1 wasn't fast enough after about 6 months, and tried to go for 1.7 gigahertz, and it literally melted a hole in my motherboard.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It melted the entire socket right out the bottom of the motherboard.
You know those cartoons where they have acid or something and it melts through the desk, then it melts through the floor, then it melts through the desk that was on the floor below them and keeps going?
Right.
I've seen that happen with a CPU and it looks ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just like, oh my god! What have we done? So, and it's very dangerous because the thing is even in that case where it exploded, imagine if that happened and we were sitting right next to it and we didn't, and we were using a cheap plastic window instead of the steel frame that it had. That would have went through and could have potentially killed somebody. It's a huge safety hazard. Not to only mention, it's a huge hazard to this multi-hundred pieces of equipment that it's surrounding.
By the way, before we move on, just to, we're saying don't overclock your Skylake, the non-K. The K means it's overclockable, but you've got to pay for that K. Fastest CPU clocked to date. Record set November 19th, 2012. It's an AMD. It's an FX 8 series, 8350, clocked at 8794.33 megahertz. That's 8.79 gigs.
That guy's smarter than me.
Right.
Or even all of us combined when it comes to that.
Not saying much when you lump me in there.
Ouch, dude. Don't talk about yourself like that. I'm supposed to be the village idiot. Don't take my title.
You can have it, man. But to Hopping Hammy, thanks for coming out, and it is early for you.
It
We will
is.
see you next time. I like to try to keep up with chat as much as possible.
Yeah, I've got both of them up myself. But yeah, what's next on the schedule?
The next on the list is Twitter. The whole Twitter fiasco going on about their new timeline setup. So, if you don't know this yet, if you didn't notice the hashtag #RipTwitter on Twitter, basically what Twitter is doing is that they're going to implement an algorithmic timeline, so that the most important stuff, quote unquote important stuff, appears at the top of your Twitter, what do you call it, like feed, and instead of just having the latest tweets on the top. And people are like, isn't like diehard Twitter fans are like the one of the main reasons Twitter is so great is that it's in the chronological order, and people are freaking out. And
Right.
yes, but so thankfully this is not going to be a default thing yet. It is currently an opt-in feature, or it will be an opt-in feature, I think. And yeah, it will become default soon. So if you don't want the algorithmic timeline shenanigans, you're going to want to go into your settings and disable it. So I mean, as long as you don't take out the ability to disable it, I think Twitter is going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when it comes to Twitter, how I use it is go, okay, this is where I was last time. Let's start slowly scrolling up from here. I
Right.
don't
Exactly.
care who. Uh, I use it as a social media platform for my own stuff. I do follow like certain family members and stuff just to see if they're doing anything stupid on the internet, so I can yell at them saying, "Quit doing stupid stuff on the internet, please." You know, because I'm an older brother and I have four younger sisters and a younger brother. I do kind of look at after them. However, I don't want to be flooded with one of my teenage sisters going, "Oh, this pizza was so yummy." Retweet, 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 retweet. Oh, I don't want that to be like the first thing that I see because Twitter says that I'm obviously interested in it because there's so many retweets of this.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the Twitter algorithm could be abused if it they were to switch it up. But I do like Twitter for being in chronological order. I mean, that's I think a lot. If they ever changed it to where you couldn't change it back, I'm pretty sure the majority of Twitter itself would just be in an uprage, and they would have to default back.
I mean,
'Cause-
I know what they're doing here. They're trying to combat the fact that the average life of a Twitter post is about 4 minutes before
yeah.
it becomes irrelevant because there's just so much stuff out there. But at the same time, people who use Twitter, as far as like the end user, that's like, ooh, I like following people and I don't really post anything.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care about that 4 minute thing. This is more from a creator thing.
right.
I think like part of the reason why Twitter's doing this is because they want to become more like the king of all social medias, which is Facebook, of course. And and Facebook orders it so that the most important stuff comes on top, I think. So try
Right.
to copy them. It's also like why they changed favorite to like. Again, Facebook influenced, so like Facebook is this holy god that everyone must bow down to.
Yeah, like they went more from the YouTube to favorites to where YouTube went to a thumbs up like button more so than if you like it, it also goes into your favorites as well as your liked videos. Those used to be two separate things, or
Right.
basically one and the same thing. Now it's like you actually have to add it to favorite videos and liked videos, or
I just don't like this idea at all for Twitter. Honestly, like Bob was saying, the average life of a tweet is 4 minutes. You said, right? So if we're keeping
Right.
the stuff that was the most quote unquote important, or the most liked, the most retweeted, the most shared, the most seen in people's things, how long before you jump into a tweet, like it or reply to it, and then realize it's 2 days old because, you had to pull a couple extra shifts, or you got sick, or you needed to go buy a new phone charger because you couldn't charge your phone or something? Especially if you've got a small following.
Right. I I don't like the change, and again, I'm hoping that Twitter has a whether it's good or bad, they're pretty good at grabbing the pitchforks and the torches, getting up in arms about something. So
Well, that's just the internet.
that's just the internet. But there's
If
like
you
a
want an
special,
angry mob,
Twitter's a little
Look
special.
no further than your local internet service provider.
Oh,
Twitter's the
God.
best for getting the news out fast and responding fast. Yeah, and
Because here at MTR, your news matters.
yeah.
I'll snap.
Did he
Yeah.
just drop a slogan bomb in the chat?
Oh yes,
Yes, he did.
Oh, crimson.
Okay, so
And I wound up doing the pizza bagel song, so yeah. Well, that's
Alright.
that.
okay, so moving on.
Yes, sir.
Now
Okay.
there's a lull, just go with it.
Here's the thing about net neutrality. Verizon's Go90 app won't count against customers' data caps.
Woo!
Like how watching video on T-Mobile will not count towards your data cap, along with streaming music. But this is just restricted to Go90, so yeah, if you don't know what Go90 is, it's a video streaming app. Apparently it's owned by Verizon. And they do sponsor some Minecraft YouTubers, specifically Jerome ASF, so yeah, there's that. And
Yeah. I think we might want to start this with someone defining exactly what net neutrality is, because
Yep.
some of our
Yeah,
viewers
that would
might
be a
not
good
know what
idea.
it is.
since some people are not informed.
Yeah. Net neutrality is basically saying, here's what here's the exact opposite of net neutrality. Say if you're like in Korea or China, actually Korea would work better in this example, where you can only serve things that are allowed by Korea but in this case, in the U.S., you'd have to replace Korea with your internet service provider. Internet net neutrality is to prevent. There are laws in place where it's like you cannot lower upload and download speeds just because someone's going to, say, if you're on Comcast and you want to see what another ISP might be offering, say like DirecTV, they can't make it to where you either can't go there or go to or just make it to where the page loads like it's in 56K and you're on AOL
Right.
all over again. How they got around that is like, okay, we're not throttling everybody else. We're just not charging you for using our stuff. So this is anti-net neutrality in a very new way, to where smaller people who aren't paid to watch people like, say here on MTR. You don't pay to watch us. You pay to have the internet and put our stuff out here for free. Versus Netflix, to where you have to pay to use Netflix.
Right.
Like,
Right.
net neutrality laws are actually in place, and this actually doesn't break those laws because they're not. The entire idea is you're supposed to give everybody a fair shake, whether it be the couple making home videos, starting a website based off of that, or a company making the same types of home videos that can obviously afford to pay off Time Warner or DirecTV or Verizon.
Right.
So that's net neutrality in a nutshell.
Yeah, so basically, the ISPs can't control your internet speed, or else that's basically against what net neutrality is.
Mm-hmm.
Now that, and also it's all about to where you can't have different charges for different services for, like, say, oh, if there was no net neutrality and they went completely stupid, it's like, okay, I just want to be able to use Facebook. Well, that's going to be your base cost plus $15 a month. Well, what about Google? Well, Google connects to a lot of different sites, so with that one, it's going to be an additional $90 a month. Are you
Right.
kidding me?
Yes, and we're not telling you it's also an additional dollar per web page that you access after the first 120.
Right. So Verizon's got something that apparently falls underneath the net neutrality rules but barely squeaks by because Verizon owns this service that doesn't use your Verizon data cap. Or it doesn't count towards your Verizon data cap.
Exactly.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I love watching streaming stuff. Do I care that it's not, do I care that it's, not all streaming things from Verizon? Yeah, kind of, but at least it's something.
Yeah. The thing is there's a Twitch app, right?
Yep.
That's going to use your data. So
Yes, it does.
why can't Twitch get it? Why can't people who just want to watch Twitch just pay the same amount that those guys do and not get the data cap problem?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Now I know streaming on YouTube, or I know Verizon allows you to watch streaming things, but they still block, or it's still not all streaming things. It's YouTube, HBO Now,
Basically paid
Netflix.
services.
Yeah. Yeah.
YouTube actually ain't on that list.
Or no, YouTube is not on that list. Netflix, Hulu, YouTube's never going to be on that list. Twitch isn't on their list either.
Yeah, because it's free for the end user, and I get the fact that it's like, hey, we're going to make this thing to where if you already pay a fee in addition to, we're not going to keep on charging you because that's how they make their money is
Right.
by charging you, and you're not going to keep with us. We're not going to be able to keep customers if people want to binge watch a season of Lost or a season or fondly watch this one show that was a huge deal way back in the day. And wait, I can't binge watch on my phone, but watch half an episode on my lunch break, then every day. No, I'm not going to do that. I get it, but at the same time, it's just like you're not breaking the law, but you're going against the intent of the law.
Right. Little shady.
Just a little.
But shady such wow.
Welcome back, baby. Also, we also hit a little bit of a milestone on Beam. We've officially hit 10 followers as of the stream.
Hey.
Thank you
Yay.
guys for following on the Beam as well as the Twitches. On to the next.
Okay, so we're doing the Google Drive one after all. Okay, so if you go through your Google security settings, and check all the stuff, you get a free 2 gigs of Google Drive storage. While that might not sound like a lot, it's free stuff, so you should jump on it before it ends February 18th. You won't be able to do this.
Yeah. Actually, right before stream, I went ahead and tested out how long is it going to take. It took me 5 minutes and I was done. And I actually learned, it's like, oh, here's some devices I haven't owned in like a year that I need to get off here. I haven't used these apps in a while. Let me cleanse that out. Yeah, it has been about 3 years since I've changed my password, so let me go ahead and do that. And okay, here's your free 2 gigs. Wow, that was it.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
for those of you that don't know what Google Drive is, because that's the thing, Google Drive isn't really used by a whole lot of people. I mean, it is, but it's not. It might not. Our followers might not know what Google Drive is.
yeah. Google Drive is basically just Dropbox or iCloud if you've ever heard of those.
Yeah,
It's
it's cloud storage hosted by Google using your Google account. Everybody's got one.
What uses up the space is interesting because it's both. It's your Google Docs, spreadsheets, and all that, plus your email account.
Right.
That's tied with it, to where your inbox actually does eat away at that as well.
Right. That's why when you see your Google email and you see that you've got so many gigabytes remaining and you go, wow, this is the biggest email inbox I've ever had. That's because you have a partition on a cloud drive, basically, that's tagged to your Google username. Now, you can go to drive.google.com, get yourself a couple extra gigs. You can put files on there. You can put video on there. You can put your photos on there without having to go through Google Photos. Thank God. Uh, you
That's a
can
nightmare.
you can put your Steam backup files on there. You can put all the crap you don't want on your computer, but you might need.
Yeah, that's actually where I have like PDFs where I've bought tabletop RPG
Mm-hmm.
books in a PDF format
Mm-hmm.
and stuck them on that drive. So if I change computers, I don't lose the data. Or don't have to re-download it. It's just right there.
There's the other thing right there. Changing computers. Once it's uploaded onto your Google Drive, you can download it from practically anything you can sign into Google with.
I've actually used them on my smartphones on some gaming
Depending
nights.
on file format, I've done the same thing as well. I'm really good for. I don't type my schoolwork up in Google Docs. I do not do it. It's nothing personal. It's just I have a college email address, and we've got a college server that I can just directly upload to if I wanted to do that. I've got a partition on my school's server. But I do type up like essays and things like that in Word, throw it on my Google Drive, not copy and paste it into Docs, throw it on my drive, download it on my smartphone, and then I've got a copy of my essay on my smartphone. I throw it up on my drive. I go to the school. Oh, I need to work on it there a little bit. Not a problem. Go to my Google Drive, download it, edit it, re-upload it. Oh, I'm going out of town for the weekend, but that's okay. They've got a business office. It's on my Google Drive. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we actually have to use Google Drive for one of my classes.
Cloud computing is amazing.
Yeah, unless it's required in playing a game, then it's like, wait, I bought this game. Why can't I own a physical copy
Are
of it?
you talking about
Right.
Ubisoft?
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about Ubisoft.
The
Yeah,
Uplay cloud system.
I'm not even going to joke. And it's like, oh,
I don't know what you're talking about, Bob.
I'd rather have I'd rather be lobotomized than go through that crap again. But in further news, we had the big game, and what's the best part of the big game? If you say it's the big burly men slamming into each other repeatedly like something out of California, you are obviously watching the wrong stream. It's the commercials of the National Football League Championship game
Yes.
thingy. So let's go round robin with this.
First
What?
up on the list.
What are some of y'all's favorites?
I did watch the Super Bowl on
Hey,
TV.
we can't say that.
No.
What?
It's the
Fine.
big game.
The
big
football
game.
tournament thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
that'll
that.
work.
We can.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. You can't call it the long form of the SB. You can even call it the SB, but it's a copyright trademark thing, and the
NFL is a
which you
bunch of
can say,
jerks.
are very retentive about that.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's a little behind the scenes for all you guys in the chat and watching this now or in the future.
That sounds like Fine Bros.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds a lot like Fine
That-
Bros.
That was last week.
Yeah, that was last
Anyways,
week.
All right, Pika. So, what was one of your favorite commercials?
Yeah, the Steve Harvey commercial.
Ah, yes, the Steve Harvey T-Mobile commercial.
Yeah.
Yes.
where he announces, he makes an announcement on behalf of T-Mobile, and then there's a spill. And then he
Yeah.
says, "Hey,
It was like,
it's
it wasn't me this time.
yeah, it wasn't my
This is
screw
on
up this time."
Verizon. They had the bad numbers. It
Yeah,
says clearly on the card.
that's clearly a
Yep.
reference to
Deprecating
the.
humor is the best.
That's clearly a reference to a certain pageant he was the host of earlier this year, where
Yeah.
he crowned
And
the wrong
announced the wrong country.
crowned the wrong winner. Yeah. And Miss Philippines, no.
No. It's like Mrs. Columbia. I'm sorry. It was actually Miss Philippines. It's on the card that the runner-up was Miss Columbia. I am sorry.
Yeah.
And I still have to give him credit that was funny is like on
He misread the card. Yep.
yeah on I can't remember the holiday it was, but he's like, Merry Easter, y'all. Yeah, on Christmas is like Merry Easter, y'all, on his Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he manned up to it, and it was an honest mistake, because I've seen the card and it was confusing. I couldn't even figure it out. But Zero, what was one of yours?
Oh, I'm still leaning towards the one we talked about a couple weeks ago, the Pokemon 20 commercial.
That one was
Ah,
good.
yes.
It still kicks me right in the feels. And it
Like,
seems like
that
every
one,
time I see it, I see something new in it.
I want to watch that done to the anime theme song.
Oh,
That would be the
Yes.
best.
I want to see it done to like an orchestral, slow motion, rising action, rising volume anime theme song without lyrics.
Like
You get
not
the
only
horns
do I
section.
want it done, I want every time that it switches, like countries, to be like in a style from that country. If that makes
Right.
sense. Or just be like, the world of Pokemon. This is
Like I want it to be
today's
like
a beautiful day, and Ash Ketchum is.
I want it to
like
be
that
like a
style.
Michael Bay movie style
Oh Lord.
intro. You know what I mean? Not like huge action, but like the sound. Remember the opening soundtrack for Transformers?
You mean besides the bong?
Right.
Yes. Aside from that, but like the music, the
Hans Zimmerman should not direct the music on that one. No.
no, well, neither should Danny Elfman, but
What's this? There's Pokemon everywhere. Actually, that'd be
Yeah.
kind of epic.
It would be. But yeah, for me, that was one of my favorite ones. It was just like right in the feels. It was empowering. There's all kinds of little secret things hidden all over the commercial. Quite frankly, it was amazing.
Yeah, I'm really jealous of that kid who has the Pikachu at home.
Yeah.
I want it.
Like,
need
I
it.
want the Pika.
upload them to your Google Drive.
See, I had a three-way split with me. It's just like, because they hit me all in different directions. One was the hype train version. The other one was thank God this is finally coming to a close. And the other one was a Phil's trip for me personally. The one that was Phil's trip was the Jeep commercial, like either military Jeep commercial. Was just like, yeah, Jeep was part of them, and it was like very vet focused and very globally focused versus some of them that was basically Team America, just America, yeah. This one just had a very nice global feel to it. But the one that got me on the hype train, and as much as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fanboy as I am, the Captain America one. Oh my god.
It was so good. It was so I didn't expect it.
Yeah, like the thing is I've already shared it because when you watch it, I had to slow down the video on YouTube down to 25% to where I could actually get a clear look at Tony's face when he puts on that Iron Man glove, blocks the Winter Soldier pointing a gun in his face by putting the Iron Man wristwatch glove thing over the barrel, and and the trigger's pulled, and the look on his face is like, "Oh crap! I think I know what I'm dealing with now, and I don't like it
Right.
at all." But to be fair, if you heard a Krang, like off in the distance, that was me yelling Krang at the top of my lungs when I saw that because it looked so good. But the one I was like, yes, you're almost out of my hair. Thank God. Deadpool. Dropping tomorrow, and we're not going to have to cover them except for like maybe box office numbers, and then done until they do make a sequel. And it's crap. Not all over again. But yeah.
So, yeah, again, I absolutely love the Captain America one. The entire thing is amazing. It's beautiful. It's dramatic. You see them line up against each other, and it doesn't give too much away. It's not, like a lot of trailers. They just like, all right, I know the entire storyline now. This one, it's like nothing too big was given away.
Would
The
you be
part with
talking
Tony Stark
about a
was
certain movie involving an alien and a man dressing as a flying rodent?
Yeah.
Let me think. Yes. Yep, that's the one I'm talking about. That one's like, all right, I don't need to see the movie now.
Alien Man versus Flying Rodent.
Alien Man versus
Batman
Flying
versus
Rodent.
But yeah, Captain America was so good. The Krang one, I was a little surprised they're going to go down that story arc. And as weird as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles look, the Krang look amazing. So I don't know, it's starting to grow on me. It does look great. The modern, but keeping the old look. Then
Hey, I've wanted this
um,
movie since I was 6. I got
right.
Toka and Razor when I wanted Bebop, Rocksteady, Krang, and the Technodrome, and now I'm getting it, and I'm a happy 28-year-old man child.
And then the Deadpool one was just hilarious. I busted out laughing. Bob, you want to say what he says?
Hello, folks. Deadpool here. I've always wanted to be a pro athlete because I wanted to have children in major cities all across the nation. And then it shows him lining up to punt somebody's head that's like on their hands and knees. Yes.
It's just to have that at the
As messed up as that
game
one
was
is,
amazing.
the NFL made a series of commercials that was much more disturbing. The NFL babies. Like seriously, there was a bunch of people that like apparently were conceived the night of the big game, and they were singing about their parents doing the mommy and daddy dance.
That's so weird. That's so weird.
I wanted to bathe
amazing.
after.
Right.
Like full on have a burnt barrel in the middle of the room burning my clothes while I was crying in the shower and just scrubbing myself with a Brillo pad. Just like,
That's amazing.
that touched me and I could
amazingly,
not show you where.
Amazingly, there weren't like any. Usually every year, it toss up between best commercial typically goes to like either one of the beer companies or to Doritos. And this year they were kind of lacking.
Doritos did have a funny one.
I've got to give it
It
to
was
Helen
hilarious.
Mirren with the Budweiser commercial,
with
though.
the entire, it's like the dad with the Dorito chip is like, you're eating Doritos during my ultrasound. Then the mom grabs it and throws it, then instantly gives birth. That one was pretty funny.
I've got to give props to Budweiser for their Helen Mirren "Don't Drink and Drive" commercial.
Oh yeah,
that one I did see that one. That kind of made me open my eyes. Not that I drink and drive, but I'm like, that makes sense. I should show this to some people that I know. Not naming any names.
Right.
Well, the thing is, if you make a product to where you cannot drive afterwards, you want them to not drive afterwards so you can still sell them the product.
Well,
and they actually do care because the people who run these companies are people too, and they don't. It's not just a, hey, we don't want our brand tarnished. Just like, hey, quit killing yourselves. we like having customers, A, and B, we like having people around. But if you do, this is
Right.
how horrible of a person and useless of a person you are.
Right.
And I just loved it.
What about that Heinz commercial with the wiener dogs? The wiener dogs that were made of hot dogs or wieners running towards people dressed up as condiments.
It was so cute.
It was so cute. It hit you right in the feels. It made me hungry.
I loved how the little kid was dressed up as a ketchup packet.
It's got me hungry.
Yeah, afterwards I'm like, I could use some sausages right now.
I need to go buy some hot dogs.
Oh, if I was an Oscar meaner.
Hot dogs that I can wrap in bacon and deep fry.
Sure you ain't from the South, dude.
I deep fried a bacon wrapped hot pocket the other night. It was good.
Again, are you sure you're not from around here?
Yeah. Born and
Because that
raised.
sounds like something that I would eat
It was delicious.
and love it.
It was delicious. It was a little
Right.
soggy, but delicious.
That sounds like
So,
a deep fried Snickers.
The Quirt is here.
Hey, Quirt, how's it going?
Quirt.
What about the
Quirt.
commercial with the monkey baby dog?
That
Oh
thing
god, that was so
creepy.
weird looking. Monkey baby dog.
Crimson didn't even know.
Monkey baby dog.
Well, that
Monkey
soda
it
was
just
a little bit louder than I
makes
wanted
me-
it to be.
Or puppy. Monkey baby puppy. Like,
It just like sent me chills. Like, ugh.
Like, that ain't
It was
natural.
so
That ain't
creepy, especially,
right.
Like it was licking that man's face. I'm like, ugh.
That ain't right. That ain't
hey,
natural.
remember the comment I made about burning clothes with a Brillo pad, showering, and all that good stuff?
Yep.
Right.
Second verse, much like the first. If, like, I was in that guy's position and got licked by that thing, I'm just like,
Exactly.
No, I'd probably grab a gun, shoot it, and then shoot me. And if I only had one bullet, I'd try to line up to do both at the same time.
That was
Oh
so. it was
god,
so
that thing was
weird.
scary.
So,
But-
what was the favorite commercial of like viewers from Beam and Twitch? Yeah.
Got anything, viewers?
Well, it takes a couple of seconds. Takes about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
30
Beam's
seconds.
got no delay, really, but
Oh yeah.
but,
But
Twitch has got a
Twitch
30,
has, like,
30
minutes
35
sometimes.
seconds. Yeah, something. Yeah.
So, anyone else have any commercials they really enjoyed?
Let me go to YouTube Blitz.
Hippie hasn't
quick.
seen any of them.
What?
And Baby says payback is. Oh, that's not even a commercial name. Nobody's got any favorite Super Bowl commercials other than Puppy Baby Monkey?
I don't know about all that. But if that thing is not a single one, then
Oh.
wasn't that Mountain Dew or whatnot?
Mm.
Yeah, it was Mountain Dew voltage, like
Wh-
the highly caffeinated Mountain Dew. But there was one that I'm just like, I love commercials to where it has this wonderful story, and then at the very end, it just punches you in the face with what they're selling. I need to find it to make sure I say the right product.
Kickstart
Not that we're
commercial where
but
everything
yeah,
dances.
Death Wish Coffee.
Yes, Death Wish Coffee.
That one punched me in the face at the very last second what it was about, because it was like these Viking men that are burly and stuff. It was like, tonight we will dine in Valhalla, and just going down through this raging sea in a Viking boat. Then it turns into a guy drinking a cup of coffee that's like super caffeinated.
Yep.
I'm like,
Death Wish
where
Coffee
did
actually.
this come from?
Death Wish Coffee actually kind of does that to you. I have it for my Keurig.
You know what? I will try Death Wish coffee, and I will tell you from firsthand experience.
I drink
if
it daily,
is
Bob.
Stronger than military rocket fuel.
It is. I drink it daily.
You've had military rocket fuel?
Yes, sir.
You're one of the first civilians that I've met that knows what that is. For the viewers that don't know what that is, step 1, buy a percolator. Step 2, add the grounds needed to make the percolator's worth of coffee. Put it on
Step
for a
3,
day.
boil it
The
down
next day,
until it fits into
you
1/2
add-
cup.
You add the exact amount of coffee again. Do that on the 3rd day, and on the 4th day, it's ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff will almost kill you.
It runs right through you.
Uh,
Don't drink it with any kind of an
check out the
MRE in your system.
yeah.
I did like the
So
Jungle
we-
Book commercial. I am somewhat psyched for that one. 'Cause
Yeah.
I love the one, Okay, no more before we get sued by Disney. But
Right.
yeah, I really did. I really enjoyed it. It's like, whoa, don't have a cow, kid. Okay.
Go on YouTube and watch the banned Skittles commercial. We'll have to do that after the stream.
Yep.
Yeah. There was
What?
a Tyler Perry, or not Tyler Perry, Richard Tyler, the guy that sings in Aerosmith.
Steven Tyler.
He had a Skittles commercial to where he was just being snarky to where they made a portrait of him out of Skittles that could talk, and it's like, see, I was like, dream on, dude, a little higher, dude. It's like, dream on. I think a little higher. Like he sounded like he was honestly annoyed. It's like, dream on, and the Skittles portrait explodes. Yeah, and this is about to show how much of a PlayStation fanboy. The guy that used to play Kevin Butler, if you remember those commercials, like the vice president of the title would just change with every commercial. That guy,
Right.
he was actually in a Super Bowl commercial for T-Mobile. It was him, 2 other people playing studio execs, talking about Drake's song, "You Call Me on Your Cell Phone," or "You Used to Call Me on Your Cell Phone," and it's like, oh wait, we just got a few changes, and it's like instead of cell phone, can you say electronic device eligible for upgrade after 24 months, and instead of to where they just like ruined it. And that was the joke. It's like, whatever you do, don't let cell phone company decide anything for you. They ruin everything. Switch to T-Mobile, the Un-carrier carrier.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that one was pretty funny. But the Marmot commercial was funny. If you haven't seen that, please watch it.
What now?
Which
It's basically a commercial to where there's this guy and his friend, the Marmot, and they were selling Marmot gear, the outdoor company, and they're having this blah blah blah. Then dude, like, they have a moment. Then he goes to kiss him, and the Marmot slaps him and goes and does his little chippering thing, and it's like, I'm not that type of Marmot. And subtitles, Marmot, fall in love with outside again.
Very interesting quirk. Anyways, guys, I think we've hit the end of the stream. You guys think?
I
Yeah,
think so too. I think we went a
there's
little bit
nothing else I
long,
can
but
think
that's
of.
never a bad thing.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for watching. This has been Minus the Rumors with of Crimson Pika Wubs. Say hey.
Yeah, hey.
Latest.
Ziploc Bob. And
Later,
Zero.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Be sure to follow us on the Beams, the Twitters, the YouTubes, and the Twitches. You can find all the links in the descriptions and whatnot. And for you lovely people, it's okay if we can raid. Like, I'd like to do this more often.
Yeah.
Alright, so let me pull up a random raid on Beam.
Yeah.
Alright, so go to their stream, put hashtag MTR raid, And thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with more news that matters to you. And I think that's it.
All right.
Bye. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.